Hey guys, my name is Josie, and today my presentation is going to be about how social media affects college students' everyday lives. So, why did I choose this topic and what is its relevance? So, I am obviously a college student, and all of us pretty much are. Um, what I wanted to see was how we use social media on a daily basis and how much time we spend on social media. I just kind of wanted to compare and was curious to see how others use social media compared to myself and to just get a general idea of what everybody's thoughts and answers would kind of be based on those survey questions that I asked you guys. And we will take a look at those in just a few minutes. So I have gone ahead and listed here some of the highlights that I found from the scholarly articles that I found on Galileo to do my research. And let's just start off by the first one listed. And it says, while social media can negatively impact students' mental health, they can also gain many things from it. Being online can give you opportunities to learn and explore. The second bullet point says, um, that in a report, nearly 28% of teens agree that social media has allowed them to become more outgoing, communicate more messages and ideas that they otherwise would not have been able to, um, as they didn't have confidence to express. And the next bullet point, it says college students often find it challenging to resist these temptations, which lead to procrastination and decrease productivity in their academic studies. And what this is referring to is the notifications that we sometimes get on our phones, whether it be for an example, new TikToks or video game notifications or text messages. Sometimes we can get distracted with those, which could decrease our productivity because sometimes we may be on social media longer than we think we are. Sometimes we get on it, and then next thing you know, 3 hours have passed and you haven't done much. Another pretty interesting fact that I found that I feel like maybe a lot of us could understand is that a British study found that 20% of teens wake up in the middle of the night nearly every night to log on to social media. I am personally guilty of this, and I lose a bunch of sleep, and sometimes it's very difficult to pay attention in class the next day or to be productive at work. And then another pretty fascinating fact I found is actually from a study that was done in Georgia Southern University, where they found that 25% of respondents were victims of cyber harassment, with about 10% of those respondents also perpetrating cyber harassment. And they also found that those perpetrators also tended to identify as victims of cyber harassment. And the results showed that those who are involved in cyber harassment tended to express negative outcomes regarding their academic performance and personal well being. So, how did I conduct my research and my data analysis? So, basically, I just found 6 articles from Galileo and based a big part of my research on that just to kind of get an idea and see what other scholars had to say about my topic. The next thing I did was I gave you guys 15 questions on a Google Forms survey for you to answer to kind of get an idea on how much time you spend on social media, what you use it for, um, if it has affected your relationships with your loved ones, your productivity, and many other questions that you guys probably remember. And I also thought that it would be a pretty good idea to go ahead and interview another college student and have him answer the same survey questions I gave you guys. Just because he is also a college student, I felt like um, a student would probably be the best to interview and ask these questions for, just because they could probably relate to many of what us have answered or have to say or think about social media. So right here, I listed the findings and the results of each question. I'm not going to go into all of them and explain them, just because I feel like there are a lot of them. So what I will do is I will kind of let you guys, y'all are more than welcome to pause if y'all want to take a good look at it, but I will basically just go over the ones that I feel like stood out the most for this research. So, the one that we can probably tell right away is that all of us use social media, and that right at the in the middle bottom, we see that social media has negatively impacted our productivity. 82.4% of us said it has negatively affected our productivity, while 17.6% of us said it has not. Again, this kind of goes back into what the scholars had to say in that one point I had mentioned. And on the right of that question, we see that a lot of us don't use any apps or have any limits set to limit how much time we spend on social media. And then y'all can quickly just kind of take a look, but social media hasn't affected many of us relationship with loved ones, or it hasn't made us feel too overwhelmed or stressed due to the social media. And then really quick, just to kind of cover it, just because it's pretty interesting. Um, a lot of us use social media over an hour. You can tell that's in the yellow and in the upper middle. 17.6 of us less than an hour, 11.8% of us an hour, and only one person answered 2 to 3 plus hours. And right here we can see that a lot of us on the top left corner, a lot of us use social media for news and current events. And it was kind of in the middle-ish for the next finding, which says how many of us fact checked our information before we share it on social media. 41.2% of us said sometimes, 29.4% said always, 23.5% said never, and only one person said rarely. And again, a bunch of us, like I said, we check our social media account before going to bed. Many of us are not too influenced by social media, and most of us pretty much know who we have added as a friend or follow on social media. Of course, some we might not know just because we might follow influencers and stuff like that. And then, not a lot of people are too concerned about their privacy and security on social media. Oops. Okay. Um, Again, some of us, pretty much a lot of us follow social media influencers. And on the right, we see a little line graph. That just it looks a little confusing, but this was a select all that apply. So I allowed you guys to select why y'all use social media the most for. And we see they're staying connected with friends and family, entertainment, staying informed, networking, and educational purposes. And that concludes my presentation. I try to keep this as short as possible. Like I said, if y'all want to go back and kind of take a look at what the results were, y'all are more than welcome to. I kind of went through them a little quick. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this research. I found it pretty fascinating and found that a lot of us could relate in many things. And thank y'all for watching.